Hello.
Get off because I was almost halfway.
Okay, bud. How's it going?
No, now you can say. Now you can say hey.
Now I can.
Hi, Jen.
I'll start recording here. And we'll spend the first few minutes finding some quiet in the body and some connection to your breath. I'll challenge you to turn inwards a little. And work towards becoming more intentional on the connection of your movement and being embodied to your breathing, and I guess we'll call it focus of mind. And we'll take a few minutes tonight to move through a bit of a body scan or a relaxation component. So I'd just like you to take a nice full breath, feeling the belly rise, the rib expand, the breath come all the way up to the chest, and then reversing that and allowing you to fully empty the breath as best you can. And just again, noticing what that feels like and how that feels in your body this evening. And then just starting to connect your breath as we move through the body. So starting with your brow, just let the brow soften, between your eyes soften, your cheeks, your jaw. Just consciously send your breath to allow more softness there. Allow the back of the head to become heavier into your mat. Let go of any holding on with the neck muscles, even the throat. As you breathe in, think of expanding through the clavicles, the collarbones, and allowing the shoulders to roll back to your mat, becoming more heavy, more grounded. Breathing into the sternum, the chest, expanding. And through your inhale, find more softness of the middle back, the upper back into the mat. Sending your breath down to your lower back. Inhaling and filling your lungs with air, and as you soften, softening the lower back and even the tailbone further into your mat. Breathing into the pelvis, allowing that expansion as you breathe in. And as you exhale, soften through the groin, the front of the hip bones, and allow your thighs to melt further into the support of the mat. Relaxing through the knees, the shins, the calves. Breathing into any areas of tension there. and into your ankles, your feet, your toes. Full inhales and even longer exhales. And just for the next couple moments, I'd like you to try and focus on your breath by counting. So I'd like you to count your inhale, suggesting you count to 4, maybe 6. And then I'd like you to count your exhale, at least to 4, if not 6. So the focus of counting with your breath will allow you that meditative effect and stillness in thought. Taking one more full inhale and one more long exhale before we start to move a little. And just noticing where you sit in your body, noticing where your energy is, and just setting an intention to support that as we move through our yoga practice tonight. So wiggling fingers, wiggling toes, circling ankles, circling wrists. Just bring a bit of more movement back to your body. And then on your next exhale, let's intertwine the fingers, flip your palms to the back of your room, and just give a long overhead stretch as you take a nice inhale. Just lengthen through the side body. You can reach through one foot, reach through the other. Really stretch those shoulders overhead. Keep your spine long. You might feel a little bit of arch of your lower back away from the mat. That's okay. Keep the back of the neck long and the whole leg connected to the mat. Full inhale and a real long exhale. You can bring those arms down. Let's inhale and hug those knees in towards the chest. And just relax the feet and ankles as you hug the knees and rock from side to side. Notice what your lower back feels like there. Notice what your hips feel like. Try and keep the shoulders relaxed away from the ears. And just notice. Give those knees a nice tight squeeze in. And then you can let those relax. Just gently draw some circle of those knees on the ceiling. So knees are together, my hands are on top of the knees. I'm tracing a circle on the ceiling with those knees. The next time you come through center, just reverse directions here. And just again, notice, adjust as you need to. Good. Give the knees, both of them, a hug in towards the chest. And then as you take a nice deep inhale, we'll exhale and lift that right leg long along the mat. So left knee's hugging to chest, right leg is nice and long. You want both feet flexed if you can. Draw your shoulders away from your ears, keep your lower back connected to the mat, and just find that optimal hip flexion on the left as you keep the right leg long and connected to your mat. Good. Now let's hug underneath the left knee. Keep that right leg long. If it is too much for you, you can bend that right knee and place your right foot on the floor. If not, right leg long. And then we're just going to straighten your left knee, flex your foot towards the ceiling, and move into that length of the hamstring. Pause and then let it bend and relax down into a bent knee position. So inhale, straighten the knee, lengthen through the hamstrings, flex the foot, move into the tension, pause, and then exhale, let that leg soften. We'll do that one more. Inhale, straighten the knee, flex the foot, lengthen through the hamstrings. Notice what you notice. And exhale, soften. Good. Now we're going to take our hands away and keep the knee and hip flexed, and we're going to do that actively. So straighten the knee, flex the foot, lengthen through that whole back of the leg, and then relax it down, draw the knee into the chest. So my arms aren't helping anymore. Right leg is still straight and strong. Straighten the knee, flex the foot, lengthen through the hamstrings, bend the knee, relax. And we'll do that one more time. Inhale, straighten the knee, flex the foot, lengthen the hamstrings, and then relax. Good. Take your hands back to your knee. Give it another hug in towards the chest. And then a nice stretch there. And then once more, straighten that left leg towards the ceiling as best you can. So knee doesn't have to be straight. It doesn't have to be straight vertical towards the ceiling. You can gently brace your hands towards the floor. So just gently press down into the floor. And then we're going to lower that left leg all the way to the floor. Jessica, you may want to bend your right knee up right now and support it with a bent knee. And then we're going to lift that left leg straight up towards the ceiling. So it's just a straight leg raise. So exhale, let it lower all the way down to meet the right. And then inhale, lift that leg straight up. So it's strength and length here. Good, lower that left leg straight back down. And inhale, lift that left leg straight back up. Good. Relax and bend that left knee. Give it another hug in towards the chest. Notice what you notice there. And then we're going to take that left knee across the body in towards a twist. So Jessica, what I would do is lay on your right hand side, both knees bent, hips bent, and then you can just gently roll your upper body back into a twist. So for the rest of us, we've got the left leg across the body, my left arm's into a T, my palm is up to the ceiling, my right hand is on top of that left knee, and I found a nice deep twist of the pelvis and the upper spine. Jessica, you'll be on your right side fully, hips and knees stacked, and then maybe gently rolling your upper body back towards the left. So breathing into that twist. And either staying here, or you can straighten that left leg from the knee. So straightening the knee, flexing the foot, and getting that long length through the outside of the left leg, into the hamstring, the quad a little bit. And again, you can adjust that leg a little lower, a little higher, but breathing into that twist there. Let's inhale, come back up through center. Bend both knees, give them a hug in towards the chest once more. A little rock and roll. And then we'll gently place those feet down on the mat. Knees bent, feet hip width apart. Nestle your shoulder blades together. Make sure your neck is nice and long, connected to the mat. We'll inhale, lift the hips up, squeeze your bum into a bridge. Think about rooting down into your feet and reaching your knees away from you. So really creating as much length across the front body as you can. And then exhale, soften down. Snuggle your heels towards your bum just a little bit more. Pull your shoulder blades down and together. Take an inhale, squeeze your bum, lift up. Bridge pose. Reach the knees away from you as you open up across the front body. Squeeze the bums to support that. Make sure there's no pressure on the lower back. Exhale, relax down. We'll do that one more time. So make sure everything's connected, set to your mat. Inhale, squeeze your bum, lift your hips up. Relax through the shoulders, the throat, to really root down into the feet, to reach the knees away, open through the front of the hip crease. And exhale, soften down. Inhale, both knees to chest. Exhale, left leg strong and long, connected to the mat. Both feet flexed. Hug on top of the right knee and draw that knee to your chest. Use your inhale to create length and connection of the left leg, and your exhale to find the knee moving towards the chest a little more. Spine is connected to the mat. Tailbone is connected to the mat. And just find that hip flexion on the right side. Let's hug under the knee now, and we'll move through that hamstring length. So hugging under the right knee, we'll inhale, straighten the right knee, flex your foot, move into as much tension as you're comfortable with, and exhale, soften down. You can always let that knee come away from you a little bit further. So the closer it is towards your chest, the harder it is to get that full length in the hamstring. So just gently moving through knee extension and knee flexion. So straightening the knee, flexing the foot, reaching the heel to the ceiling, drawing shoulders away from the ear, lengthen, and then relax. And we'll do that one more time. So inhale, lengthen through the hamstring, support the thigh with your hands, and then relax. Now we'll keep the knee and the hip as it is on the right. Take your hands to your side body. Gently support them by pressing into the floor a little bit. And now let's move through that actively. So we'll inhale, straighten the knee, flex the foot, find length in the hamstring. Don't forget about that left side. Keep that left foot flexed and that leg strong too. Exhale, soften. Inhale, straighten that right leg. Flex your foot, length through the hamstring. Notice how you'll feel your lower core turn on a little bit. That's a good thing. Make sure your back is connected to the mat as you straighten that right leg. Good, and relax down. Okay, this time we're going to lower that leg towards the floor. If it's too much for your back or it just doesn't feel good, just bend the left knee up and anchor it by pressing your foot into the floor. Otherwise, we've got that right leg straight, right foot flex. We're lowering it all the way down to the mat. without letting your lower back move away from your mat. Then we're inhaling it straight towards the ceiling as far as those hamstrings let you go. Lowering it down. And then one more inhale, leg lifts. And relax that leg down. We'll inhale that right knee back towards the chest, give a hug. Take the outside of the right knee with your left hand and move that right knee across body into the twist. Again, your other option, if this just doesn't feel good, we can bend both knees and hips and then just roll the upper body back into a supine twist. Otherwise, we have the left leg long, the right knee across body. I'm gently anchoring the right knee with my left hand. Right hand to a T, palm up to the ceiling. Then you have lots of length through the spine. Full breath in and a full breath out. Either staying here, or if you'd like, you can straighten that right leg a little further, and you'll get that nice length through the outside hamstrings on the right. You can adjust that leg a little lower if you like, and then think of rolling your upper body back towards the mat. Nice twist through the right hip. Good. On your next inhale, roll back to the mat. Knees hug in towards the chest, rocking and rolling. Just notice what you notice. And then we'll place those feet back down to the mat. This time as wide as your yoga mat. Feet connected. And let's just gently windshield wiper the legs from side to side. Think of that movement coming up from the hips. And the knees just follow. So I'm lifting and rotating through the hip joints. And just again, noticing kind of how things feel right to left, how they feel moving inwards versus outwards. Are you gripping or holding on anywhere that you don't need to, i.e. the inner thigh muscles, the neck muscles. Knees back up through center. And let's just rock up to sitting, or you can roll onto your side and then come into sitting. Very nice. Move up a little bit here. You got everybody? So come into a cross-legged seated position. And if you'd rather, you can certainly sit up on a cushion if it's more comfortable for your pelvis or for your hips. Okay, if you would rather uncross your legs and come into a bound angle pose, if that's more comfortable, that's cool too. So whatever works for you in sitting. Okay, so we're going to take our arms all the way up as we inhale. And as we exhale, we'll just take that right arm to the side body, plant the hand, and just find a nice big side bend. Think about reaching up through the fingertips, keeping your sit bone anchored to the floor, to the mat. Take a nice breath here. And then as you exhale, soften that arm down. Good. We'll inhale, do the other side. So inhale, sit tall, fingers towards the ceiling. Exhale, hands down to the floor, side body bend. Anchor that right sit bone towards the mat and just reach out through the fingertips. So create as much length as you can on the side body. Watch that you're not arching the spine too much, and even tuck the chin a little. Don't leave your head and neck out to dry. Big breath in here. Good. Inhale back through center. Let that arm relax. So if you're cross-legged, just switch your cross-legged position to the awkward version there. Now we're just going to inhale those arms up again, this time grabbing onto the outside of that right arm and finding a nice tricep stretch here. So again, sitting tall and then just making sure you're not arching your back. So sometimes we'll over exaggerate that arch spine, but we really want weight on your sit bones and just let your ribcage relax down. I'm going to press the back of the head into my forearm. I'm going to really pull that elbow across and press it back. And I'm going to get as much openness across my armpit, my triceps, and my spine as I can. And just make sure you're still breathing here. Good. Now keep that right arm in that position. Take your left arm down and just find a bit of a side bend here. So it'll feel a bit awkward. That's okay. Keep pressing your head into your forearm. Anchor the weight with your left hand. And just think about opening up even a little bit more in that right rib cage. So breathing in. Exhale. And on your next inhale, just unwind and just roll those shoulders back. Lots of movement in that shoulder blade and rib cage. So we'll try the other side. So we'll inhale, arms up. We'll take that left arm behind the head. We'll grab a hold of that left elbow. We'll draw it across and back. And then recorrect your spine. So relax your front ribs into the body. Make sure you're right on your sit bones. Breathe there. Press the head back into the forearm. And I feel so much tension in through my triceps, my shoulder blade, even my middle spine. Then we'll drop that right arm. Try and keep that left arm behind the head. Press the head into the forearm and just walk the hand away and side bend. So again, okay that it feels awkward. Keep connecting your left sit bone down towards the mat. Try not to bend forward too much, so still stay long and open across the chest. Take one more breath in. And exhale. And then unwind and come back. I don't know about you, but I find that really intense. So just roll your shoulders a couple times back, maybe a couple times forward. Good. Okay, uncross your legs. Let's come into the bound angle pose here. So soles of the feet are together. And we'll just gently hold on to the toes or your ankles or wherever you're at. And from here, we're just going to gently round the spine and roll the head down and find a nice C curve of the spine. And then we'll inhale and just use your hands and on your feet as a bit of a lever to arch the spine and reach the chest through. And then we'll reverse that and we'll just roll the spine, round the spine, let the head hang. Roll back behind your sits bones if you can. You might feel your abdominals working a little to help you with that. And then as you inhale, connect feet to hands and pull yourself through. At the same time, try and reach your knees towards the floor so you're really opening across the groin. And then we'll do that one more time. So we'll roll, round, hanging head, shoulders down. And then reversing that, drawing the chest through, even lifting the gaze, roll the shoulders down and back. Awesome. And then exhale and just let those arms go, roll your shoulders again. Okay, let's come in just to a comfortable long leg seated position. So not like wide straddle, not Dandasana legs together, just fairly comfortable there. And again, be propped up on a pillow if that's just too much to keep your spine straight. And we're going to come into Garandasana or eagle arms. So let me see if I can talk you through this correctly. So we're going to bring the arms up and we're going to reach your right arm underneath your left elbow. And then if it's available, you're going to turn your palms to face each other. So it might just be this, and that's cool. But my elbows are stacked together and my palms are working to weave themselves together. That's awesome. Then from here, pull your shoulders down and think about reaching your elbows away from you, like towards across the room. And see if you can get a nice pull across the middle back. Keep the chin tucked in the back of the neck long. And then if that's okay, then you can try and lift the elbows and the hands towards the ceiling without arching your spine. So notice what you notice there with your shoulders. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, hold. And then you can let that go. So I find that I really get into the back of your shoulders. So roll your shoulders again. Let's try that other side. So I'll lift my arms up and I'll scoop that left arm underneath. And I'm trying to get those elbows as close together. And then I rotate my forearms so my palms face each other. There we go. I pull the shoulders down. Find that position and then think of gently reaching the elbows to the front of the room or away from you. Keep the chin tucked. And then if you can, think about lifting the elbows without arching the spine. As you keep your shoulders down. Take another full breath in here. Full exhale to hold the posture. And then exhale, soften. Ooh, what does that feel like? Ay, ay, ay. Okay, let's come into tabletop. Let's get moving through the spine and the hips a little more. So into your tabletop position. We'll have your wrists under your shoulders. You can tuck or untuck the toes. Spread the fingers wide. Bring the chin back in line with the neck and the spine, and just moving through your cat and cow. So we'll inhale, lift the gaze, draw the shoulders back, lift the spine, and then exhale, tuck the tail, press between the shoulder blades, hang the head. And reversing that, inhaling, shoulders away from the ears, lift the gaze. And exhale, round the spine, tuck the tail, hang the head. And last one, roll the shoulders down, arch the spine, lift the gaze. And opposite, tuck the tail, hang the head, press out between the shoulder blades. Good. Now, still in that tabletop, we'll just do a bit of a side to side movement. So I want you to take your hips to the right and side bend your spine, and then swing your hips to the left, side bend the spine. And I'm trying to be in neutral tabletop now. So I'm not arched, I'm not rounded. I'm just swinging the pelvis from side to side. Seeing what that feels like there. Good. And now let's arch the spine and then take the tailbone and the pelvis from side to side. So now I'm in an arched spine and I'm just shifting the pelvis from side to side and just seeing if you can find that movement. Good. And then the last thing we'll do is a tucked tail around its spine and then shift the pelvis from right to left, side to side. But I've got pelvis tucked under, lower back's rounded. This probably has the least amount of movement here in the tucked or rounded spine. Okay, find neutral there. So find that neutral tabletop. We're gonna go up into our downward dog. So tuck your toes here. We'll take an inhale and lift the hips up towards the ceiling. You can adjust your downward dog here if you like, a little longer. Have your knees bent a little, reach your tailbone towards the ceiling, hug the biceps towards the ears, and you can pedal your feet. Lots of length through the back body, nice long spine. There we go. On your next inhale, let's just walk your feet to meet your hands. Relax your knees, let them bend, and then just find a forward fold. So let your head hang here. Knees are bent, spine is spilling out from your hips, head hangs. On your next inhale, just roll your spine up all the way to standing. Good. Find your Tadasana here, or standing mountain pose. So feet are hip width apart, lift and spread your toes. Really anchor all four corners of your feet. Big toe, little toe, inside, outside heel. Roll the shoulders back. Now we're gonna inhale and take the arms all the way up to the ceiling. We'll exhale, hands through heart center, forward fold. Soften and bend your knees. We'll inhale, lift the chest, roll the shoulders back, half back stretch. Fingertips can be on your mat, on your shins, on your thighs. We'll exhale into your fold, plus your hand, or put your hands down onto the mat, and we'll step back plank. We'll exhale, downward dog. On your next inhale, we're gonna lift your left leg towards the ceiling, and we're gonna step it through to your left hand. So I'm in a long lunge position here. From this lunge position, let's drop the back knee and untuck the toes. We'll inhale, take those arms all the way up, knee down, crescent lunge. So while we're in this crescent lunge, just think about that gentle lift of your pubic bones. So we take some of the arch of your lower back. Hands are up towards the ceiling, and we can gently lunge into that a little bit further rather. So wherever you're comfortable. Take several breaths here. Good, we'll inhale those arms down, and let's just come into a little bit more of a 90-90 position. So I'm still in that right knee down lunge position, and now I'm just going to gently lunge in and out of that deeper lunge. So I'm just lunging in and out. You can adjust this as you need to. Kind of feels like I need my left leg a little wider. Make sure you're not too narrow there. So I'm just lunging in and out, just noticing that right hip flexor, my lower back, just gently lunging in and out. Good. Now let's take that left leg to a 45-degree angle now, and just try and keep the pelvis facing forward as best you can. And let's just lunge in and out here. So just moving in and out of those hips, and a nice straight spine. Just feeling where a good limit is for you to move in and out. Good. Okay, one more. We'll take that left leg as lateral or as side as you're comfortable with. Try and take the hips as forward as you're comfortable with. When that knee starts to come in, keep reaching it out as best you can. And then we'll move lateral into that lunge. But again, totally adjust. If that's too much, just scoot your leg a little further forward. We'll get that mobility in the upper inner hamstring, the inner thigh, the opposite side, hip flexor, inner thigh. So just again, moving in and out of that. Definitely make sure you tuck your tailbone under a little. Watch that there's no arch or not too much arch in the lower back. Lovely. Good. Let's bring that leg back to that initial lunge position. And let's just gently rest your hands on the floor. And then if you're comfortable, I'm going to get you to bend your back knee and then relax. So if I can show you here. So my weight is on the front of the kneecap on the right, and I'm just bending my knee and relax. I've got weight resting on my thigh. If this isn't comfortable, just stay in your lunge. But this is another really good flossing exercise for your hamstring and your quad. Amazing. Let's take both knees down. We'll take our knees nice and wide now, and we'll just sink back into that child's pose. So let's just take a few minutes, or not few minutes, but few moments in your child's pose to just collect and regroup before we trial that on the other side. Think of breathing into the back body here. Think of softening through the chest and the shoulders. Relaxing through the groin. And just reconnecting to that breath awareness. Let's peel yourself up as you inhale out of the child's pose. We'll come back to tabletop. Once in tabletop, we'll tuck our toes so we can inhale up to our downward dog. Pedal your feet in your downward dog. See how things feel. Really hug those biceps towards your ears. Tailbone lifts to sky. Really think about reaching that chest towards your thighs as well. On your next inhale, take your right foot up towards the ceiling, three-legged dog. Sweep it through towards your right hand, long lunge. Hands are connected to the mat. Let's drop the back knee, untuck the toes. Maybe wiggle that right foot over to the right a bit more if you feel too narrow in your stance. And we'll inhale, sweep the arms up, low crescent lunge. Good. So just find what works for you here. You can always take your arms down if that's more comfortable. You can back off that lunge position if that's more comfortable. Just find what works for you. If that knee's uncomfortable at all, you can always put a little cushion underneath it. Don't be afraid to adapt to what would feel best. Full breath in, full breath out. Then let's adjust into more of that 90-90 lunge now. And let's just let ourselves rock forward and come back. Lunging forward a little more dynamically and coming back. Again, I'm making sure my tailbone's tucked, so I'm not just arching my back as I lunge forward. And I'm really connected to that front foot. Got nice weight through there. Getting some nice length through that back quad and hip flexor, hip joint extension. Good. Now let's move to that 45-degree angle or thereabouts. Again, tuck your tailbone a little, align your spine, and then just rocking into that 45-degree angle. Notice what you notice there. Be really connected to that front foot. Making sure you're breathing. Awesome. And then one more time, adjusting as far lateral as you're comfortable with. Make sure that knee is reaching outwards. And then seeing if we can lunge into that position. So I'm working towards keeping my pelvis facing the front of the room and my knee from caving inwards. If I look down at my foot, I still see an active arch. So you can't help but turn a little bit towards your knee, but ideally you don't want to be facing your knee. Your front body is still facing forwards. Amazing. Okay. Come back to your mat. Come back to a child's pose. So knees wide, toes together, hips back. Nice and relaxed through the spine. And just find that child's pose there. Again, just allow those hip flexors to soften here. You just did a lot of work in those knee down lunges. Allow your spine to soften, but still fully breathing into that whole 360 degrees, belly, rib cage, back. Good. Let's inhale, come on up. We'll just do one more pose on our knees before we come back to our back. So we'll come into tall kneeling here. My toes are tucked just because it's more comfortable for my ankles, but you can certainly untuck your toes if you'd rather. And instead of my weight being on my kneecaps, it's just below my kneecaps. So I'm going to think of tightening my bum and reaching my hips forward, so I'm nice and straight here. And then I'm going to take my hands and try and clasp them behind my back. And if that's not available there, I'll just bring the hands as close as I can behind the back. And from there, I'm going to think about pulling the shoulders down and opening the chest. I'm still tight through the glutes and nice and tall in the body. And seeing if I can, with the shoulders back and the chin tucked and the bum tight, I'm going to try and reach the fingertips, or the knuckles, I guess, towards the floor. Roll the shoulders back a little bit more. And maybe I can take my hands under my bum. So just that big active shoulder stretch. If not, it can look like this. Hands as close to your side body as you can get them and moving your way. Good. Or fingers clasped and moving away from the body. Just take one more breath here. And then exhale, relax. And let those arms relax and roll your shoulders. We'll just come down to our bum here. All that work on the computer, all that sitting, our shoulders need some pulling back and our arms need some extension and our hips need some left. So let's roll back onto the back now, just nice and slowly, or you, Jessica, you roll to your side and roll to your back. And once you come down to the mat, let's just do a few windshield wipers. So bring your feet wide on your yoga mat and just move side to side here. And just again, notice what you notice now. Good. And then let's, before we come into Shavasana again, let's take the soles of the feet together, the knees wide, and maybe those arms in cactus this time, or a T if that's not available. See if you can just really soften through the front body and let your lower back connect down to the mat. So let's spend a few more moments here in this Supta Baddha Konasana. Imagine length along the inside of the femur bone, the thigh bone. Imagine length along the spine, so vertically along the spine. And then imagine width across the collarbones and across the front of the shoulders and the chest. So that full length, width, and opening of the front body. Again, fully inhaling into the whole belly, rib cage, chest, and lengthening the exhale. Part of the reason why the breath is so important is the vagus nerve, which is kind of an indicator and an influence on our relaxation part of our nervous system, our parasympathetic nervous system, pierces our diaphragm. And by working on the breath and the fullness of the breath, we can tap into that ability to rest and digest, helping everything from our mindset, our state of tension, our digestive system, kind of all of the above. So full, easy breath in, and an even longer, fuller, more complete breath out. And then whenever you're ready from there, just find your way into whatever Shavasana would serve you best. Whether you want knees bent, whether you want full body kind of outstretched and relaxed. Even if you wanted to come onto your belly or come onto your side, that's okay. Wherever you'd like to spend a few more moments, really allowing your body to soften and be still, just sealing our practice tonight. So starting to wiggle fingers, wiggle toes. Just bringing your awareness back to your space. And in your own time, just rolling onto your left-hand side and just taking another couple nice, easy breaths there. And whenever you're ready, we'll make our way up to our cross-legged seated position, our Sukhasana. Just take your time. Awesome. We'll take our hands to heart center. Close your eyes, bow your head. Nice deep breath in. Full breath out. From my light to yours, namaste. Thanks, everyone. Everyone's good. All good?
Thanks, Jen.
No problem. How's everybody's week going?
It's going.
Oh, it's going. I found this to be a really tough week. I don't know about anyone else, but one of those weeks where it's like, really, we're still here. Can we move on now? Can we have a little bit of taste of life? Anyways, my 2 cents.
Thank you so much. That was fantastic.
What's that?
I said that was fantastic. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime. Next Thursday, same time.
I feel like we'll all be here still.
I think that might be true. I know I will be.
There are worse places, that's for sure.
Yes. Yeah. I was, well, Tracy was there too. We were on Nikki's Think Out Loud Zoom call beforehand. And she asked us to think about what your reflection was in terms of, will you go back to everything that you did before? Will you make changes? Like, what do you think, or how do you feel about the positives of life now versus, you know, the things you miss? Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, pretty much I miss life. I love being with my family, but I miss life. So those were my 2 thoughts. Yeah. So, but in the meantime, we'll keep doing yoga. We'll keep staying well. And thankfully, we have the gym, right?
And we have the luxury of being able to be in our homes and be well and healthy and safe.
Oh my gosh, totally. Totally, absolutely. Yeah. And I guess that's sometimes how I find it difficult, is that I have so much gratitude, but I have so much missing.
Oh yeah,
like,
for sure.
All at the same time. It's kind of a weird combination. Yeah.
Yeah. I know. My grade 12s are like just devastated because they're not having their prom, they're not having their grad.
Oh, totally.
On all these like major milestones, and you you know, we have to be grateful that we're healthy and we're well, but at the same time, like, these are once in a lifetime.
Yeah, especially when you're 16, 17, 18, eh?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
There'll be big parties when this is over, that's for sure.
Oh, goodness. Yeah. I do worry. I do worry for that. Teenagers on the loose might not be a thing.
Thank you very, very much.
Anyways, have a good night, guys.
Thanks, Jen.
Thank you, Jen.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye. Enjoy the sunshine.